John was stunned to discover that the arranged marriage partner he'd been about to reject was none other than Mia, the girl he'd risked his life to save last night. The CEO immediately changed his mind, instructing his assistant to fetch the engagement ring. He stood up before Laura's shocked gaze, unaware that it wasn't Mia destined to marry him, but Laura, who despised his disability. It turned out that 10 years prior, after Mia was adopted by the Jack family, she faced constant neglect from her new relatives. When her biological parents learned their biological daughter had kidney failure, her father callously forced her to donate her liver to her sister. He then planned to abandon her back at the orphanage, left to fend for herself. Her grandmother, unable to bear it, took her back to the countryside to raise her. Little did anyone know that 10 years later, the legendary Western woman, Miss Amy, despite pleas from Western elites, planned to return to China to find Mr. Xianting, whom she had long admired from afar. She resolutely announced her complete retirement. Unexpectedly, on her way back, she encountered a plane crash. She unexpectedly crossed over into the body of Mia, Jack's adopted daughter, to fulfill the garden owner's final wish. The woman visited her deceased grandmother in her place. There she coincidentally encountered John, the CEO, hiding his identity. Thus, the two, who had never met, failed to recognize each other. Amy then journeyed alone to the Jack household. Unexpectedly, her return had been summoned because her sister had heard that CEO John was disabled and unable to walk, and conspired with her parents to arrange Amy's marriage to him. They claimed it was for Amy's own good. After all, a country girl like her should be grateful for any match. But Laura knew their true motives. They merely sought to preserve the Jack family's reputation and avoid breaking their promise. Still, to fulfill the original owner's final wish, Amy agreed to the arrangement. Seeing this, Laura believed she had Amy completely under her thumb. That very night, she approached her mother, proposing that before Amy married into John's family, she should make a contribution to the Jack household. Soon after, Amy was tricked by the scheming mother and daughter. Unexpectedly, upon seeing her beauty, they immediately tried to take advantage of her, but Amy wasn't about to tolerate it. She knocked Henry straight to the ground. Only then did Owen, clutching his groin, collapse. "You dare try to take advantage of your own grandmother," Amy declared. Owen, furious, ordered his henchmen to teach the woman a lesson, but they were no match for Amy. This scene was witnessed by John nearby. Just as one henchman prepared to ambush Amy, John rushed forward and saved her. The moment their eyes met, Amy felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity. Only then did Amy realize what had happened. She hurriedly stood up and said thank you, and hurried away. Little did she know that the man who saved her was none other than John, her intended husband. At the engagement banquet the next day, John's mother, Anne, mistakenly believed Laura was the bride-to-be. She specifically called Laura over, addressing her repeatedly as my daughter-in-law. To Anne's surprise, Laura didn't respond affirmatively. Instead, she silently withdrew her hand and gave an awkward smile. She didn't think much of it until Jack's family had announced to everyone that it wasn't the previously betrothed sister who would marry Jack, but her long-absent elder sister who had taken her place. Just as everyone thought Song Jia had betrayed her trust and broken the engagement to substitute herself, Amy slowly descended the stairs. Her entrance instantly stunned everyone present. How beautiful! Unexpectedly, this scene drew Laura's scorn. She dismissed Amy as nothing more than a country bumpkin raised in the sticks, arguing that marrying the lame John in place of her sister was already the greatest favor she could hope for. Only then did John's mother realize that the Jack family, disgusted by their son's disability, had brought in a village girl raised in the countryside as a substitute bride. She immediately confronted them, only for Laura to insist that it was the older sister who was meant to marry, and stared in disbelief. But Laura sneered, a crippled CEO can only marry a country bumpkin sister. A lame man and a village girl, made for each other. Amy demanded Laura repeat her words. Laura repeated, just a country girl. Amy stepped forward and slapped Laura across the face. Laura looked at her mother with hurt eyes. Mom shot her a glance. Dad immediately caught the signal and stepped in to accuse Amy of such insolence, bringing shame upon the Jack family. But Amy countered that her sister had betrayed their trust and spoken recklessly. As the eldest sister, she had every right to discipline her. In just a few words, she silenced Dad. Then Amy proactively apologized to Anne on her sister's behalf. This instantly earned Anne's approval of the stand-in bride. She then asked Amy if she minded the CEO's disability. Amy said she didn't mind, adding that engagement required emotional foundation. John replied that feelings could be cultivated. It was easily arranged. Only then did Amy realize her fiancé was none other than last night's John. Unexpectedly, the two would meet again in such a dramatic fashion. President John then instructed his assistant to retrieve the engagement ring. He turned to Laura and asked, "Are you certain you want Amy to marry me in your place?" Laura replied with absolute certainty, adding that he was a natural cripple and that he and her country bumpkin sister were truly a match made in heaven. At that moment, John stopped pretending. He stood up from his wheelchair, leaving everyone utterly stunned.